Welcome everybody to round 6 of the PS Open, Tier 1, round 6, and we are at the lovely Marina Bay in Singapore for our first night race of the season. So we have currently 15 drivers in the field, bit of a smaller one tonight due to the NRL Grand Final, so I think a few of the people having just celebrating that, and hopefully if they are following one of the two teams in that grand final that they come up and get the win. But nevertheless, I think we will still have a very competitive 31 lap race around this 5 kilometre circuit. So as we wait for the drivers to do their setups, we'll just go quickly onto the results from last round. Good news is there were no reports, which is really good to see. So race results are as they were. Jedley was our previous winner at Spain, with Jays and Prezzo rounding out the podium. So I do believe that we have no Jedley and no Jays, so good opportunity for a couple of these other drivers to possibly get onto the podium. So it'd be very nice to see some fresh faces, but as we go on board, Prezzo still in the pits, but Prezzo still got close to a 50-point margin in this championship. So with second and third not here tonight, definitely a very good chance for him to build up a nice margin. But you've still got some very competitive guys in here. Grimmy and Tay, probably they haven't had the best luck, so fingers crossed they can get some good luck and have a really good result. So let's just bring up the track map. That looks like a Red Bull. It is, so Orphan Drop will be the first that will come across the line. So we'll follow him as he starts his flying lap. Just me in the box tonight. 40 enjoying the celebrations with the grand final. So we'll hopefully see him back next week. But as we go on board, I'd say go on board with Orphan Drop, as he's had a spin coming out of that last corner. Can be very tricky coming out of that last corner with the traction. So we'll with him off, we'll go. I think it was Deputy was the next man around. So right on board with him as he comes through turn 1, 2. Around turn 5 now. This is one of the first DRS straights. So one of the only chances for a possible overtake on this track. Nice and tidy through turn 6 and 7. Coming around 8 now. Obviously being a street circuit, walls very tight, so a mistake can easily cost you. And this is one track you do not want to have any wing damage, because you need as much downforce around here as you can. As it comes through the middle chicane here. Comes over the bridge. Once again, a nice line through the hairpin of 13. Nice exit out of here. Activate DRS for the second time. Nice braking down to 14. Careful not to run too wide, because that can invalidate your lap. Through this tight sector 3 now. A lot of slow corners, one after the other. Coming now under another bridge, turns 18, 19. Around this last chicane, want to get a good exit out of here, and through the last couple of corners, want to be careful to not lose the traction, as Orphan did. It was a steady lap, and he sets a 1:39.4. So got a time on the board. So nice lap from Deputy. We'll see who's on a lap next. We'll follow Basile as the Beast goes into second. 49.2, so must have made a little bit of a mistake on his outlap. Or on his flyer, I should say. Snickers Bud goes quick on a 39.1. And Basile goes nearly a second quick on a 38.2. So definitely some more time to find in this track. We'll see as one of the top front runners, see what time they can do. As Bompton goes up to P6 again, just possibly getting a mistake in that first run. So he's got enough fuel in the ARS to go for a second. Grimmy looks like he's coming into the pits. It was that Entei coming around the final couple of corners now. And he goes pole on a 1:38.1, so a tenth quicker than Basile. So Entei looking for a good result around here. Sort of struggled last time out in Spain, had a few issues, finished 8th. Definitely looking for a better result. So hopefully can find it with a couple of the front running guys not here tonight. Got an Aston Martin around, which was Twitch Liddy. So he pops himself up into P4. Mercedes of, I believe, good little general. So our reserve for tonight in the Mercedes. He pops himself up into P3. I think that's Deputy coming in. The other Aston Martin of My Name is Jeff. Had a nice qualifying last time out. Just struggled in the race, having a few spins. So hopefully he can sort of qualify back up in the top 10 again and have a bit of a better race. Yellow flags in sector 3. That might just be Entei getting out of the way. Got Bompton on his proper lying lap, and he goes P4 on a 38.4. Only 3/10 off the pace at the moment, which is a good sign, and I believe track evolution should be a massive factor around here, so we'll sort of find those times climb up fairly quickly, I'd imagine. I think we've got a Haas around starting his lap, Metz. So we'll see how he goes on board. Nice exit through there. Coming around turn 5 now. Keeping it fairly smooth through this first sector. Hasn't got time on the board. Yellow flags just for people, that's Martin swapping positions. My name is Jam. He goes quickest to a 37.9, so quick last time in quali, so he's kept that good form going. Martin gets out of the way, which is good to see. As Metz comes around turn 13 now, he'll activate the RS. Bit of extra speed down this straight. Not a massive overtaking spot, but if you do make a bit of an error through that hairpin, or somebody in front of you makes an error, it is definitely a good opportunity to make a late diving move down the inside. So Metz down sector 3 now. Tight sector 3, keeping it fairly smooth. Nearly got close, very close to that wall. It'll come around the final couple of corners now, and he's just invalidated coming over that second last curve. So very easy to corner cut on this track and invalidate your lap. So a lot of the drivers will have to be careful, not only in quali, but can very easily pick up warnings that can pretty much come like that. So yeah, definitely warnings will be a big factor. So we'll just see who else is on the lap. Prezzo coming around the hand curve now. Nice turn in there, not going too wide. Yellow flags just behind him. Obviously had a bit of a disappointing one last time out in Spain, spinning at turn 9, coming onto the back straight, so he'll be looking for a nice result, a better result like he did in Miami. He'll come across, ran a little bit wide through there. He does set the quickest lap by just under 3/10, so Oh, sorry, that's Prezzo, sorry. Prezzo set the fastest lap by 3/10. I was looking at talking about Auckland drop there. My mistake. But Prezzo, we sort of know the form he's been in. He hasn't been off the podium, so Prezzo definitely a contender, especially with second and third in our Drivers' Championship not racing tonight. Right on board with Auckland drop, but Grimmy, he goes to 37.3, so he's gone 3 seconds quicker than Prezzo, so Grimmy's got a lot of pace around here. So Grimmy definitely one to watch, and I've battled him around this track a few times. He's definitely strong around here. If any of the drivers are watching, just let us know what the weather will be like. Will we have a dry race, or will there be weather mixed into it? Auckland drop comes into the pits. So we've got Deputy, he's also into the pits as well. We've got Ferrari in the wall underneath the bridge, so, and facing the wrong way, so hopefully that doesn't won't bother Prezzo, and he'll be in on his lap in this lap anyway. So not too many mistakes we've seen out on track so far. Gavin in the chat, Ruby saying it's a dry race, which will be good. I know he'll be glad to hear that. So Ente, he goes up to P3. So Ferrari driver. Would want to start from the top 4 if he can. I know he had an issue first lap last week. Would want to try and avoid that this time round. Who else we got on the lap? Twitch looks like he's burning ERS, so we'll see if he finishes this lap. So gaps are sort of paired between a couple of drivers. So a couple of drivers within a tenth of each other, then there's a little bit of a gap. So definitely one of the longer tracks in the calendar, but especially in terms of time as well. Twitterly goes up to 9th. He does 38.5. So if he can find another couple of tenths, he'll be able to jump himself into the top 6 perhaps. We've still got 5.5 minutes to go, and being such a long lap around here, you want to come out with about probably just over 2 minutes to go. And luckily enough, with only 15 drivers, traffic won't be a massive issue like we've seen at some races, but you can be in a little bit of trouble if you find yourself stuck in traffic. Oh, and he's had a bit of a snap there. We'll go on Ante, which will be into the pits. My name is Jeff, I'd imagine he be in, he's not burning. We've got the Alpha Romeo, will he finish this lap? He will. So what time can Bompton do? He goes up to pole position, 37.2, really nice lap from him. So where he wants to be, and he'll hope that he can sort of stay there time wise, or he'll be pushing it to get back. It's going to be a minute and a half to get around, so he may run out of time, so that might have been his final flyer. As we'll switch back to Twitch, he'll be in, he will. So all of our drivers just currently in, waiting for these last couple of minutes to do their final runs, and if it's, with it being a dry race, softs probably won't get used a lot. They're not the greatest tyre around here. Tyre wear around here is fairly bad on those softs. Hard is a really good race tyre around here. Bompton just sitting behind, he's not on a push lap, so he'll be in. So what can Grimmy do? Needs to find about 2 tenths. As I said before, he looks good around this track, Grimmy, so we'll see how he goes. Obviously, we can't write off Prezzo, our championship leader, but he's got a bit of work to find. About 4 tenths to be in contention. So a lot of these guys making last minute changes, maybe to tyre pressures. But we'll follow Grimmy around this track. See how he goes. They're coming down to turn 1. Middle chicane. So the first chicane, and he's invalidate. But the good news with Grimmy is if he's got enough fuel, he has time to get around again. But he's gonna have to be careful, and a lot of these guys coming out. He won't have to give up position, but yeah, definitely not what he wanted. He does let Prezzo go through. So hopefully Grimmy's got enough fuel in. He can turn off his ERS. But as we look on board, it might be the other McLaren. It is that will be on the first one to start a flyer. So 1:45 to go. Oh, I think that's Orphan that's overtaken him. Yes, he has. So Orphan will be the first one across the line. Oh, he's actually on his. No, he's not on his flight. He's not showing the outlap for him. So the two of the pits, Bompton and Goodwill, will stay where they are, or they'll drop down. So they won't be doing their final runs. But what can Orphan drop do? Gets a nice exit onto the front straight to start his lap. Has to be careful not to invalidate this first chicane like Grimmy did. Takes it nice and steady. Coming around turn 4 now, up to the right hander at turn 5 to get a nice exit through here onto the straight around turn 6, which isn't as much of a corner, but it's a curve. And he is up by just under 2 tenths. As we follow him through this second sector. Oh, bit of a snap through there by Orphan. Coming through this tight middle chicane. Rides the curves nicely. Down to the hairpin at 13. Nice exit out of here, activate DRS. We come to the second sector line. How much time is he up? He's up by 4 tenths. So this will move him into contention around P3. Bit of a hit with the wall, but shouldn't have cost him any time. Come around the tight left, right under the bridge. Trying to get a nice exit through here. Nice exit through the last chicane, trying to not take too much curb and invalidate. And the all-important last couple of corners. Nice wide line through there. What can he do? He goes second on a 37.2, just behind Bompton. But a really nice lap from him. Grimmy is at the bottom. Who we got? Stobby, I think, coming around the last final couple of corners now. What does he do? He can go up to P7. We've got the Aston Martin of Twitch. He's in the pits. What about the other Red Bull Prezzo? What can he do? He's found time. He goes front on the 37.1. But then that's stomped out by Grimmy, who goes to 37 flat. Little General now coming around the final corner. He comes up to P6. And Snickers Bud into the 10 on a 38.3. My name is Jeff. He comes around the last final couple of corners. Can he improve? He can. He jumps up to P5 on his 37.6. What about the two Ferraris? Entei. He comes across the line. He can move up only one spot to P5. And the Beast was about P13 and stays P13. So, very hectic those last couple of minutes, but Grimmy gets the job done. 37 flat, 10th and a half. So really nice job from him. Prezzo Nice job from him as well, P2 championship leader. Bompton, he managed to stay within the top 3 after setting that fastest lap early. Orphan drop, P4. So both Red Bulls in the top 4. Red Bull has a nice championship lead in the constructors. So very nice result from them as we round out our top 10 drivers. Entei, Jeff, General, Basile, Stobby and Snickers Bud will be those drivers, and then Twitch Lily, Deputy Deal Dog, The Beast, Goodwill and Metz is your final drivers. So Metz and Goodwill didn't set a lap time, but not too bad considering we do only have 15 drivers for this race. But it'll be very interesting to see what strategy these drivers go on. Being a full drive race, it will be a medium hard or hard medium. Hards can go around 18 laps, mediums for about 13 laps. Do these guys go on the hard tyres, get them out of the way and go on to mediums? Safety cars, definitely a major factor around here. Very easy to have a collision into the wall and can bring out a safety car, and with this game, you only have to be someone losing a front wing and that safety car can get called, as we've seen in the past. So, yeah, do you want to start mediums and predict that safety car, or go hards, hope for not a safety car, and then have the faster tyre at the end? We shall see. As the drivers get away from the grid for the formation lap, we'll check tyres, and majority of them have gone hards, but we do have difference. Grimmy, Entei, Goodwill and Metz, they have all gone medium tyres. So Grimmy definitely looking to get ahead and away from this chasing pack. Entei looking to charge through those hard runners. Definitely will be interesting to see. I think the delta between the hards and the mediums, probably maybe a good half second, if my memory serves me correctly. But as you see, the strategy just showed up on your screen: hard mediums or a hard medium soft. I think we'll only really see the soft tyres if we have a safety car very close to the end. All right on board with our pole man Grimmy. He's only had one podium this season, and that was a 3rd place at Sandbort. So he'll be looking to get another one here tonight. Bompton, his best result was last week in Spain in 6th. So starting from 3rd, very nice chance for him to get on that podium for the first time. Prezzo, as our championship leader, hasn't finished lower than 3rd in a sprint race and has already got 4 feature race wins. So what can he do? Orphan drop. He had that podium unfortunately snatched away from him in Miami. So he'd like to keep a podium. Could this be his chance tonight? And Entei, he's been unlucky, but he's shown glimpses of pace. He's had a couple of 4ths already. Can he improve one more to step on that podium? We will see, as Basile unfortunately disqualifies himself, but his tyres will still be good temp. So we just wait for the lights to come on now. And they do. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 lights and 1 away, as it looks like a fairly steady start for the top 2. Grimmy will have the inside light, and Prezzo up the inside, and Prezzo spun. So lucky from him. Bompton's had to go wide. Entei on those medium tyres has already moved up the 3 positions that he wanted. Bompton not willing to give up that position so easily. So can Bompton get a nice run down this first straight? DRS obviously not activated for another 2 laps. Ente not there. Bit of bumping and grinding further down. Looks like a fairly steady start. As unfortunately Goodwill has no front wing. He's moved up a lot of positions but no front wing, so he'll have to come in and box. As we got Orphan, he's now past Bompton as well. So did Bompton make a little bit of a mistake? A lot of these guys, except for Goodwill, looking to have their front wings. Goodwill just getting out of the way, letting everybody past. But Prezzo, our championship leader, obviously having that spin off Grimmy. Oh, and he's gone. Well, that's a little bit of lag. Looks like there's no damage on his front wing, but he's going to have to pass a lot of cars to get back up to the top pack. Oh, as he looks for a move on Basile. So Basile might have a little bit of damage, does he? Because he's dropped back a little bit. Goodwill just causing yellow flags, just trying to get to the end. So we'll keep an eye out on Prezzo. We've got a bit of a train falling behind My Name is Jeff, who would have been behind Goodwill. Always, My Name is Jeff, he's hit the wall. As Grimmy obviously sets the fastest lap, the first lap. So I'm wondering if My Name is Jeff, did he get damage from that? So as you look at Snickers Bud, oh, he's thinking about a move, thinks better of it. So, but oh, as we've got a spinner, oh, Deputy, oh, and Prezzo's been involved again. So Basile and Prezzo and Deputy at the back there. Prezzo on the inside. So do these guys have any more damage? So this night has not worked out for Prezzo so far. Still a long way to go in this race, but a lot of work to do now because he's a fair way behind the lead pack. Yeah, he's already 14 seconds behind. So hopefully he can got a bit of a gap in front of him. He can get a bit of clear air and sort of just slowly make his way up on the field. As Twitch Lily, he's just got past his team out on that front straight. Got a bit of a gap to catch the next pack. But as we look at these front two on these medium tyres, Grimmy 1.3 second lead over Ente. So Ente did a really nice job on that start. Bit of chaos, but he's been able to play it very nicely. Orphan drop, first runner on the hards. So what can they do, and can he sort of hold on to these medium runners? Crossover point probably should happen probably around 8 laps in, you'd imagine, where the mediums will start to go off and those hards should nicely come in. But Grimmy on those mediums definitely pushing, as I think that's My Name is Jeff, he's gone around and into the wall. So not the first time tonight he's hit the wall, so if he's got wing damage he'll have to come in and box. As Basile, he does come in. Unfortunately, being on those hard tyres, he's going to have to stop again. But you imagine he'd go onto those mediums. My Name is Jeff, he's staying out, so maybe he's been lucky. Maybe he's just spun and not hit the wall. But we'll go back up to this battle for third. Bompton right on the back of Orphan. Obviously a little bit disappointed that he lost that position early. But he's still right in there, and Little General as well. He'll look to capitalise as we look at positions change. So as we saw, Ente up 3, Orphan up 1, overtaken Bompton. And then we saw the little pack, Little General Stobby, all these guys in the midfield, they've moved up a lot. Metz from the back of the grid, he's moved up 6 spots on those medium tyres, so he's made them work. Prezzo, our biggest loser, he's down 8 spots, but luckily enough he hasn't got damage. But he's going to have a massive fight through to try and get back on this podium. And then just scattered a little bit at the back. My Name is Jeff, unfortunately, had a couple of issues, and then the final two, Basile, Goodwill, they've had their little tangles have been into the pits, but Bompton right on the back of Orphan. So Bompton definitely takes that final couple of corners better than Orphan, as we saw in Quali. Orphan spun out of that final corner, so Orphan maybe just giving himself just a little bit of room not to make the same mistake. Right on board now with Bompton. Can he line up this move? Orphan gets a better exit out of there, but ERS and DRS. Bompton not burning. As he thinks about going the outside, no way around there. As we did have yellow flags for a second there, but yeah, Bompton definitely looking a little bit more comfortable around there. Maybe should have burned a little bit of ERS around there, as we'll put on the telemetry just to see what ERS they've got, as we've got back to picking up their first warnings. Very easily to pick up warnings around here, and Metz saying such a good job he did on those mediums, he's had a bit of an issue, so he'll fall down the grid. But as we have a look at third and fourth at the moment, Bompton about 20% more ERS, so he's got a little bit more to burn. This track can be tricky to save ERS unless you're in a bit of a train. But the two guys in front, 3 seconds covering Entei and Orphan, and then nearly 4 seconds Grimmy and Entei. So Grimmy making these medium tyres work really well. We'll go back to this battle for the P3. Little General and Sobby in the back, just closely watching this battle. So what did Bompton do? Bompton was closer last time around. Can you get a bit of a better exit through that last corner? Oh, it wasn't too bad, but again, Orphan drop. Been able to get a better exit out of turn 5, which has helped him through the end of this straight. Again, Bompton not burning RS. Orphan I don't think burnt either, so Orphan just playing steady. He knows that the medium tyres will come back to those guys. Entei sort of just lost a little bit of time, so Entei had a bit of an incident. He hasn't got any damage from what I can see, but he's dropped a bit of time, so are those mediums already starting to give him a bit of issue? As Bompton, I think he's made a bit of a mistake, as Little General's now right on the back of him. So Bompton, he's nearly lost that DRS, he has lost DRS, so he might have made a little bit of a mistake at the hairpin. As we got a yellow flag, Metz around again, but recovered, so maybe a little bit of a spin. So, can Bompton get on the back of Orphan drop? But Little General has caught up, and Stobby is in this as well. So Orphan nearly got out of DRS that lap, so Bompton's having to push to get back, so as yellow flag, Metz is around again. I'll be on those hot tyres. We'll see him come in. No, he'll stay out. We'll go to Twitch Liddy at the moment. He's got Snickers Bud for company, Prezzo behind. So he's done an alright recovery, but in terms of time to leader, yeah, 16, 17 seconds off the pace. So in terms of that fight at the front, he's going to need a bit of a safety car. But what we see now is Bompton, he's been able to close that gap up after that little bit of a mistake, and he's dropped Little General. So Bompton definitely got pace, just can't quite use it behind Orphan. So again, just the nature of this street circuit, where you just got to stay behind the car until they just put the pressure on him, and until they make a mistake. But he knows where he's going to line up. Oh, a bit of a touch of a wall there from Bompton. should be fine, but he doesn't want to get too close to those walls. As we come through the final corner, Bompton, he did set his fastest lap, his personal fastest lap of the race to catch back up, so he's definitely got pace behind Orphan. About 3.5 tenths, so he's looking a little bit closer this time round. He just has to focus on this exit. Oh, a little bit wide. Orphan doing a nice job with that exit, but now this is his chance. Bompton burning ARS. Can he go up the inside? Oh, Orphan hangs it around the outside. They both give each other room. Orphan back up the inside. Nice racing from these pair. Each left each other room, and Orphan stays ahead. So while this is good battling, it is letting the top two sort of get away. And it's letting General and Stobby help close back up. But yeah, Bompton, he knows where he wants to make the pass. He's just got to get the exit out of turn 5. Uses a bit of DRS to catch back up down that straight, but nowhere near close enough. So he'll just follow through this tight turn 3 as Prezzo, he makes a move on Snickers Bud. So Prezzo up to P8, so using that pace. So he's got Twitch just in front of him. So luckily enough, he's not in a train, so he'll try and make the move and catch back up in the next few laps. Then he'll have about 5-6 seconds to catch up to the train that we've been following the last few laps. So Bompton about half a second coming across the line. A bit further back this time round. Might try and save a bit of ERS. They're a bit more closely matched with ERS this time round. Bompton not burning ERS this time round, might just be happy to follow him through. So still within 4 tenths. Prezzo, oh what's that? Twitchility, he's had a bit of an issue. So he'll get that car straightened up. As I think that was Jeff getting past Deputy. So was that a possible incident from Prezzo? I don't think they were close enough, so Twitch might have just lost it out of that corner. But that gives Prezzo the spot, so he's got 7.2 seconds to close up to this backpack fighting for P3. So he's been able to recover. It's just the time loss will hurt him a little bit, but P3 is definitely not out of the question, especially with this clear air. We know what race pace Prezzo's got. And we're only 8 laps into this 31 lap race, so still plenty of time. Oh, as Orphan goes way too deep through there. So that's Bompton, Little General. Oh, and side by side. So we got Orphan. So what's happened to Orphan? He's ghosting. Unless I've missed it, unless he's accidentally unless he's lost connection and left the session. So unfortunate for him, we'll see what happens, but that's really unfortunate for him. Oh, and Stobby, he's definitely not down the pack. Alright, so leaderboard just having a few issues at the moment. Twitch leading now at the back. Alright. We'll just keep an eye on that. Maybe Orphan might be the one causing it. Or it might be Stobby, but we'll keep an eye at the top 3. Yeah, Orphan's left the session, unfortunately. So, really unfortunate being that he was in 3rd position at the moment. We'll see if he can join back. But he's going to lose time hand over fist. But what this does, this helps Bompton and looking at it, he's only 1.3 behind Entei. So Entei really starting to struggle on those medium tyres. So unless he's got a little bit of damage, but Entei's probably not wanting to come in for at least another few laps yet. So I feel that once Bompton gets to him, this may be a bit of an easy overtake. General's lost a little bit of time, maybe not necessarily knowing what was happening with Orphan Drop, but he'll have to make up a little bit. Stobby right behind him, but he's battled for second now. Bompton definitely looking to try and get past Entei. Maybe Entei might think about a bit of an undercut to try and get off those medium tyres, especially if they're not feeling too great. But while you watch this battle, Grimmy with a 7.4 second lead. So still working out wonderfully for him. And with the gap and with the pack sort of spaced out a little bit, he's not going to come into too much traffic when he does come out. He's not going to be stuck behind any trains. But he's going to have to pass cars because they'll be still going out for a little while. But Bompton definitely looking for a move, wanting to get the move done within the next couple of laps, so he can start closing in on that big lead that Grimmy's built up this first 10 laps. Or he just taking just a lot more traction out of those corners. Right on board with Bompton. See how he goes through. Yeah, Entei just a little bit taily through a couple of these corners, so definitely struggling with traction, and Bompton getting a better exit through. Will he try and get the move done down here at turn 1? He won't, but he's definitely going to try and line it up. No, he thought about it, but he's definitely going to line it up for turn 6. So he'll try and get a nice exit out of here. We've got Mets, unfortunately, around again. But what can Bompton do? Burning a lot of ERS with DRS. Not quite. Entei had the better run through there. So Bompton sort of struggling out of turn 5 at the moment. We saw that with Orphan Drop. Just sort of struggled. So I'll just fight Orphan Drop back. What this is doing, this is helping Grimmy massively. Gap in front up to 8.2, so it was nearly 8 tenths on that last lap. So while this sort of hurts Entei a little bit with this battle, helps Grimmy a lot, especially trying to defend with these guys on which will have new medium tyres. So Bompton as we come around the last couple of corners. We're right on board, a little bit wide there from Bompton. Possibly could have been a warning. That lets Entei off the hook a little bit. Definitely closer. Coming around turn 5, much closer. So he'll burn as much air as he can. Entei's flashing. So around the inside, can he? Yes, he can. And Entei tries to hold it around the outside. So Entei will have the inside line side by side into turn 7. Oh, still side by side through the left-hander. Entei will get the better run off there. Again, nice battling between these two. But again, Bompton just unable to get the move stuck. So he's stuck behind. And all the while, this is helping Grimmy another second gain that previous lap, as we got Mets around at the final corner. We'll say on this battle P2. Bompton, what can he do? Can he look for a move down here? No, not quite. And he's used up a lot of his ERS for those couple of moves, so they're about the same. Bompton about 3% more. But Bompton have had the right idea at turn 6. But again, just unfortunately, can't make it stick. And just losing a lot of time, and Little General slowly just catching up to this pack, and he's dragging Stobby along with him. Prezzo still 7 seconds behind, so he hasn't been able to catch this top 5. Close back in with Bompton. Ento really struggling with those mediums now. You'd imagine he'd be in either this lap or next. But that looked like a better exit. All they do, he'll burn. They're both burning. Again, Bont will try the outside, the inside. Ente can't quite do it. Bompton went a little bit deeper to try and cut that off, and he does. So nice move from Bompton. So you'd imagine he'd pull away from Ente, and this is probably a good chance. This is a good chance for Bompton to get away from Ente. You'd imagine Ente would be in this lap. Get on some nice fresh set of hards and make sure that he does the undercut to get back past Bompton. It'll just be that can Ente keep Bompton behind on fresh mediums. But as we were looking at that battle, Stobby, he's got past Little General. So Stobby up into P4 now. So these two having a little bit of a battle, and Prezzo's sort of closed in by about 7/10 with these two battling. So he'll want this fight to keep continuing. So Ente, he's dropped about 8/10 behind. Will we see him this lap? No, he decides to stay out. He's within DRS, so he's going to use that to his advantage a little bit, but don't be surprised if Bompton gets away through this second sector. Stobby holds Little General at bay. So Ente, he's fallen out of DRS. Bompton now closing in on Grimmy. So, but Grimmy's got a fair bit of time. But he won't want to let a lot of time go on those old mediums. He'll want to imagine coming in shortly. As Little General, he thinks about the move. He gets it done on the inside and keeps it at bay. So Little General back up to 4th. So these two swapping positions. So nice battle pair from these two. Prezzo, he's closed in a few seconds as we got Metz, unfortunately, around again. Not the first time we saw lost it around that corner just before the penultimate 2 corners. So he's in. So he's on those mediums, so he'll switch to the hard tyres and he'll go to the end. As we got the Beast and Basile, they're battling. Oh, a little bit of contact. So the Beast on the hards. Basile probably just sort of struggling on those mediums, but they're still fighting these two. Oh, trying to hang it around the outside. Not necessarily an overtaking spot. Still side by side. Got to give each other room. Oh, bit of a tank slapper from the pair of them. As we got an Aston around just ahead of these two. Tough fighting from these two. Definitely not a place you'd imagine some overtaking done. But the Beast holds on to P12. So those hards will be a little bit fresher as we've got Ente and Prezzo. Ente and Grimmy into the pits. So they're on that hard tyre. So where do these guys come out? Grimmy will come just behind Snickers Bud. And it'll take a little bit of time for these hards to warm up. But he's come out in a nice position. He'll get those tyres, warm them up, take a couple of laps to get them in. And then these guys on the old hards should be fairly easy for Grimmy. to get past. He's just got to make his move stick, not try anything too dangerous. The first DRS straight, as we've seen, most of the overtakes been done there. But as we switch to this battle pack between General and Stobby, Stobby still within DRS. Prezzo, he's closed in another couple of seconds. As who we got? Entei. No, the Beast. He's had a bit of an issue. So he was in that battle pack with Basil, but he's made a mistake. Whether Basil was involved, not sure. But I said, unfortunately, he's had another bit of a spin. We'll switch to Astons at the moment. My name is Jeff. Right behind his teammate. Both on the same set of hard tyres, same life. So, with only 15 drivers here, there's some good points for Aston Martin. So they still want to be careful. If Jeff has got pace, maybe we want to do a bit of a team order swap. We'll see. But what I'll do is I'll quickly switch back to Grimmy. He's got a good run on Snickers Bud. Grimmy up the inside. Snickers Bud didn't fight that too hard. No, that's probably not his battle. So Grimmy up to P5 now, and he's got about 8.5 seconds to get to Prezzo. But as we know, top 4 haven't boxed, but they will be on the quick and medium tyres. And then if there's a safety car, that obviously changes the game as well. But we've been safety car free this entire race, so hopefully we can see that continue. As we watch these at Aston Martin, Steph goes a little bit wide through 10. Coming down to the hairpin of 13 now. On board with the very nice helicopter shot. We'll get DRS down this straight. Not quite close enough to do anything. So will Jeff sort of make a bit of an undercut. Entei is on the back of Orphan's ghosted car, unfortunately unable to rejoin the session.